Hello. The Supreme Court winds up its work this week generally feeling okay to give President Trump the near dictatorial powers he craves, essentially with the Republican-controlled Congress unwilling to do anything, basically ceding all their powers to their president. But one area where the court has pushed back, aside from affirming the sexual assault claim of E. Jean Carroll against the president from over 30 years ago, the three liberal justices were supported by a couple conservatives on pushing back on efforts to limit voting rights. Mississippi won the right to count ballots that were postmarked by the end of an election day afterwards, even if counted a few days later. And then there's the president's insistence on having the Save America Act approved. It would give a president and the federal government enormous power over voting regulations and rights that have been the purview of states for 250 years. Democrats are firmly opposed to the Save Act that requires proof of citizenship at each election. Even some GOP senators don't like the idea of telling their states how to carry out their elections, so long as they are clearly fair. On Meet the Press, one of the rising leaders of the Democrats in the Senate, Chris Murphy, who is stepping into the role of major pushback delivery to Trump.
In Connecticut, we have safe and secure elections. This whole idea behind the SAVE Act is trying to push a mythology that our elections aren't secure, are rigged. That's not true. The problem with the SAVE Act is that they don't really care about the voter ID provision. That's not why they're pushing the SAVE Act. They care about a provision that would create a national voter list that would allow Trump to go in and take people out of it so he could claim that the wrong people voted in state elections. It's actually why a lot of Republicans in the Senate don't support the SAVE Act. Donald Trump is the most unpopular president in the recent history of this country, and so he is trying to rig the election.
Trump's insistence to sign no other legislation before the SAVE Act will make him feel good, but at least in the Senate, where Trump helped defeat a couple of incumbents from his party he doesn't like, those senators and others will be around the rest of this year, giving him fits over things like the SAVE Act. That's what happens when you quickly turn over congressional oversight to a president who thinks he deserves all the power. With the Ear on the White House, I'm Bob Costantini.